City Cowboys and Girls, you were back on the edge with Johnny Voltaire. Now, I had a few close calls myself, but I made it. Here we are in 2020. You are told to stay inside. If you go outside, you don't see a face, you see a mask. Many stores are closed, some for good. My city has a curfew that doesn't seem to go away. We are on lockdown. And what some hypothesized would be a prison planet-like future, in some ways has already happened. When you're inside all the time, the days start to blend into one another. Weekday to weekend, it's hard to tell when the week ends. So how do you break free? What can we do to feel normal in these times? That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Now, we're in a peculiar situation. It's new to all of us. We don't know what we're doing. To be honest, some people thought hoarding toilet paper was going to save their ass. But for the most part, we're at home, doing what we normally would be doing. Just watching, binging shows, movies, checking out social media, playing video games, listening to music, and all those things are fine. They're distractions. They're things that you use to tune out. But my only concern is when these escapisms become an institution into themselves and a way of life. And it makes sense right now. Reality is harsh, so I get it. Tuning out is okay. Doing it all the time isn't. In other words, I'm hoping for a light before the end of the tunnel. That probably wasn't the best phrase, but we're just going to keep it going.
Under a quarantine, social interaction becomes very limited. You're most likely alone or just with the same few people all the time, and it can drive you nuts. I don't think it's an unpopular theory to say that we're all getting a little stir crazy. Feels like maybe this wasn't mentioned so much or it was just taken for granted, but we greatly underestimated the importance of human contact. The inability to see who you want to see and go where you want to go without so many caveats being in place is really starting to wear on us. With so many businesses closing, people losing jobs, being evicted, these jobs aren't really being replaced right now. The economy is starting to collapse, and we might even be facing a government shutdown. It feels like this big mess is about to hit the home stretch. I mean, I don't want to be a doomsayer, but damn. Seems like whatever public gathering you're a part of today is probably going to turn into a... Maybe it's just me. It seems like during this quarantine, everyone's gotten into a fever pitch. And you just have to set them off. Denying someone's sense of belonging seems to have some disastrous results. And honestly, that goes for everybody. But I'm not going to draw these parallel lines for you. You can do that.
I know there are hermits and recluses, people who will scream at the top of their lungs that they want to be left alone. But let's face it, for most of us, it's a sliding scale. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
So, maybe you decide enough's enough. I'm going to get out. This quarantine isn't going to keep me in. You go out, you do some activities, but Seeing as how you can't even stand close to people or dine with them, it's a strange feeling. You can be in a fully populated city and it's like nobody's out there. It's kind of like you're in an abandoned town, and believe it or not, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Contact with other people is important, regardless of what you might hear. We are social creatures. You know, when we're alone in isolation and there's nobody else around, you know what we tend to do? We'll watch a movie with people in them. We'll read a book about people and interpersonal relationships. Or, you know, even if you're reading a science fiction book or fantasy, whether it's an alien or a hobbit, you're reading about people. We might listen to music, and we relate to the person who made it.
Maybe we should take some solace knowing that we always seek comfort from other people, even if it's through music, media, books, or what have you. Are we ever truly alone?
You can't escape other people forever. And to be honest with you, we don't want to.
So I think one of the more underlying important issues to look at is what is a functioning community, and how important is it to feel like you belong to one? With that being the case, what role do you play? But we're all staying inside, so let's be real. What kind of community can you belong to? Shoot, we went from we live in a society to we live inside. I'm guessing that if you're not going outside to feel like you're a part of something, you're probably going online. The thing is, if you're going to go online to get some form of socialization or human contact, you need to be aware that a lot of it is very unreliable. Sure, there are some very real and genuine people out there. And when they do something, it has meaning because they're just being themselves. There's a genuine freedom in that. But as far as online culture goes as a whole, I think there's just a rot that's starting to develop. You know what? This is a thread I'm going to have to pull up another time. I just want to say when you go online, the best thing you can do is be you. Be genuine and find other people who are like you and get along with them. Like real life. Just be a person. We can have fun and not take it serious. Or you can develop friendships or, at least meaningful exchanges with people. That would be actual socialization and doing something that counts.
When you're in your cell, like your house all day, and the days go by, you'll find it therapeutic to create a regimen so your body doesn't break.
Whoa, I can hear you already. I've got a break from the regular 9 to 5 grind and waking up every morning and doing the same old thing. I've been staying inside, and a lot of you are in that situation, so I get it. Still, if you find yourself as listless, bored, down, depressed, or feeling like you need to do something, that's where regiment comes into play. In fact, it toughens you up. It helps your mindset. I've read that depression can be fought off by making simple routines for yourself, ones that are beneficial. Anything that gets you taking part in something that's helpful sends a message to your brain. It tells you that you care. Something as simple as making the bed in the morning, or going for a jog, eating something a little more healthy. It tells you that not only are you active and hanging in there, but that you care. Believe it or not, this alters your physiology overall. Keeping a regular regimen only helps you keep it together. Whether you were in a real lockdown or, the other kind of lockdown as we are in now, it's important to keep your sanity. And exercise helps release serotonin into the brain. And working out makes you physically stronger. These are two very important things in these times. So buck up. Find something to do. In fact, even if it only takes you 2 minutes in a day, they say if you make it a habit, it starts to become a part of your life. So if you need to put on your gym clothes to make you go out and do something or to get a workout in, then you need to do that. It doesn't have to be exhausting. You just need to make the change and keep it going. Consistency is what routine is all about. So find some good ones. Hold up, 1 second. You know what really gets me is, I don't mean to be finger wagging on people. I'm doing this video to help. So some of this stuff applies to me as well, okay? Now I play video games, but I know people who play way more than me. And it kind of kills me when I look at it like they will put way more effort into grinding their online character or video game character more than they put in their actual life. When you build up these stats and you're grinding, and these games are kind of designed to make you keep playing, even though you don't really enjoy it, you kind of keep going. They got you hooked. And it's sad because in time, you're going to get bored of that game and it's over. Those stats, they mean nothing. When it's all said and done, in time, you have less time. May have made yourself weaker. Might have even hurt your relationships because of how much time you spent on a video game. Keep in mind that making changes for yourself is long lasting. Okay, and a regimen isn't easy, but when you start doing it, you can think of it like an RPG. Okay, you start on level 1. You do a little bit, and sure, it's repetitive, but after a while you get better results. Keep that in mind.
Mental exercise is great as well for the same reasons. Make a schedule so you stick to it. So I think one of the biggest mistakes is when someone tries something new and they kind of dive and they exhaust themselves the first go round. They don't want to do it anymore. It's too tough. When really what you need to do is a little bit every day. When you get good at it, you can do more. Hobbies are things you do to kill time in a clever fashion. Now the way you can do that and escape boredom is by creating new interests, discover new things, learn, put a little bit of effort. Do it for something that's unique for you. Sometimes you don't even know what that is until you look. Part of the joy of exploring something new is just that, discovering new things.
Of course, it could be anything like listening to music, watching movies, playing video games, or whatever, but I advise you to take it one step further, and that's to have a hobby that creates a truly unique experience for you. A hobby should keep you engaged and learning something new, because honestly, in this big wide world, and for you to say you're bored, it's because you're not really looking deep enough. We have all the time in the world right now, so I suggest you use it discovering something new. I mean, even if you are stuck inside, what you do while you're in here is going to dictate how happy you will be. That's on you. And the best part of finding new hobbies, these things can involve going outside, staying in, ordering some kits, watching tutorials, reading manuals, talking to other people about it, sharing it with others, creating art, becoming more educated, or even just goofing off. But hobbies are terrific. They get you to participate and create something, and possibly with other people. And when you find one that really sticks, and one that's really you, it can be a life-altering deal.
They can help spark your creativity, and in the end, they help say who you are. So find some good hobbies. Just remember that the things that you participate in will help define your happiness. You can essentially keep yourself from being bored by being proactive. And of course, depending on your situation, I know not everybody has all the time in the world to just check things off on this to-do list. The situation is dire for many people. But hopefully, if you can find a healthy way to express yourself or to get things done. Because the more we vegetate and we tune out, the weaker we become overall. And you need to keep your head on a swivel out here if you want to survive. You need to talk to people. You need to reach out to others. You need to pay attention to what's going on in your own life.
And as I like to say, be good to people when you can, and when you can, be with good people. Yeah, there you go. You can put that on your Instagram. What we've designed here is a pyramid that you can look upon as a foundation. So at the bottom, that line is your relationships, how well you treat others, how they treat you, and how things interact. Because basically, if you don't interact well with other people, everything goes to shit. Your happiness is going to be highly dependent on the people you keep around you and how you treat them and vice versa. The left side, that's for your physical health. Always keep that in mind. It not only helps affect your mental health and affects how other people are going to see you, how you present yourself, and so on and so forth, but you don't want to be unhealthy. Now put down the stuff that's making you sick. It's a fight, but it's a good fight. I'm dealing with it as well. And finally, on the right side, is for your creativity. All right, you have to spark that inner being inside yourself that says, I like to do this, and you do it. And after a while, you end up doing it very well. Okay, so that's for the soul. And right there, you know what, at this point, I think you guys get it.
But the effort that you put into things, to get things done, and to make everyone happy, it all counts. You know, sometimes it's just a listening ear or some compassion that can help turn things around. I know at some point or another in our teenage years, we all felt like we had no one to talk to and no one understood us. But it's not true. If you really think about it, there are people who care. And if there isn't, then you need to find someone. I'll leave some numbers underneath my video for people to reach out to. Because sometimes you just need to talk things through with somebody to understand that you can make it. Be aware of everything going on in life and find your meaning. In the meantime, everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. Did I just use this catchphrase?
Okay, that means it's time to wrap it up. Let's go.
I'm Johnny Voltaire. Those are the hounds of hell. They're probably not here for you. Now, next time you see me, things will be a bit different. But if you want to contact me, you shoot me a signal, and I'll do my best to answer. But for now, I gotta go. You know what they say, you can't stay on the edge for too long. You might fall off. I'll see you.
Apparently, an addendum is necessary. I recorded this maybe about a month ago, maybe just a little bit more. I had a lot to take care of before I could put this out, but essentially, in my fine state of Florida, Mr. DeSantis is lifting a whole lot of restrictions that have been put in place due to the epidemic. In other words, a lot of businesses and restaurants are going to be opening, and this is despite not having a really clear-cut view of the future. We don't have a cure or a vaccine yet. You know, there are thousands of people who have died in this state alone, and we've had hundreds of thousands who've been infected. Now, was this a good decision? Only time will tell. But I encourage everyone who has to go out to exercise extreme caution. Okay, practice social distancing. Have your mask. But remember to be a human. Okay? Finally, this video is mostly in response to the quarantine, but it applies to anyone who's stuck inside or feels like they need some direction, and I hope it helps. Everyone just stay safe.